Hey everybody, still on the road to Faire today. Got a late start, all kinds of shit going on. Not worth talking about, but delays. So I'm gonna get there with only about 4 hours to see the whole thing, 3.5 hours, which is not bad. If I keep moving, I can see most of it. And I don't look at everything anyway. It's Faire is a collection of inventors, artists, 3D printer guys, electronics nuts, Arduino, all that kind of stuff. Vintage computers, crazy external like artwork stuff, some steampunky kind of stuff like Burning Man, a bunch of antique stuff, weird kind of old machines. They had a functioning steam train there last time. It was pretty wild. They light off they pull the steam whistle once in a while, and you could do a free ride up and down some tracks they put together. It's over at the Alameda Naval Air Station on Alameda, which is an island, kind of near. Actually, it's closer to Mare. It's actually Mare Island, not Alameda Island. Mare Island, which is in Vallejo, and it was an old location for World War II. Back when the guys were serving, there were a shortage of manpower here, so you had the whole concept of Rosie the Riveter. That you see a lot of those people that get tattoos of it, or these artwork of the kind of tough lady with the flexing her arm with the bandana on her head. They had a lot of women doing the shipbuilding and other kinds of crazy stuff for the war effort. So this was one of those locations. And if you didn't see my thing last year, you'll see the cranes and crazy shit, all these like hangars and cranes and stuff where they would assemble things, move them around the building, pull them out in the docks, and then put them on ships, and also building parts of ships and all that. Pretty cool old place. Boy, I'm glad I'm not in that left lane. It's solid traffic. Woof. See, even on Sunday, the fucking Bay Area is crazy. Just way too many people. Always construction going on. And no scalability. They locked the roads. They built all around it with housing and businesses. And there's no scaling. They can't go up. They can't go out. So LA at least has scaled with some pretty wide freeways, but they still have tons of traffic. But we get a population like they get, it's going to be even worse. Anyway, what was I going to say here? So the site at Mare Island is pretty cool. It's been going on. This is the third day. I didn't have time to do anything but the third day. So, obviously you go all 3 days, you can see all the talks, you can check every demo out, spend some time, do more leisurely walk around. I'm gonna have to do a brisk walk faster than last time, because last time I had most of the day. Today I got about half the day or less. But I was going to come on Friday, but Friday being a school trip day, it would have been crowded with school kids, and also it only ran to about 3 o'clock. So you'd really have to get there bright and early to get your money's worth out of driving all the way up here. Because it's about an hour 20-minute ride, something like that, without too much traffic. So bit of a haul, but it's worth it. They used to have it in San Mateo at the San Mateo County Fairgrounds, close where I used to work at Nikon, and they don't have it there anymore for whatever reason. I have no idea. Now, Adam Savage, one of the Mythbusters guys, always shows up to do talks and just be there. I think he sells stuff as well, but he mainly does like talks and just hangs around and signs autographs and stuff. And he's been coming
Continue on
every year.
I-680 north.
Yeah, GPS is telling me what to do here. he comes every year since they moved. Maybe even San Mateo, I can't remember. So maybe he's another reason they moved it, because he's a huge draw. And I think he lives way up, like East Bay, North Bay, something like that. So that could be another reason why they moved it. Also, maybe it's a hell of a lot cheaper versus San Mateo, which, being Bay Area proper, is just like everything else, too fucking expensive. Now I'm getting some traffic a little bit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's fun. A little something, everything for everyone there. They have even some guy who does some wacky homemade modular synth stuff, which is really weird because last time I walked by with the camera, he's like, "Oh, you're not supposed to film this," like it's some kind of private thing. It's like, well, the whole world is here looking at it, and they're also taking pictures. But you don't want me to film it or live stream it or whatever. It's just kind of odd because, first of all, you have to have talent to build that stuff. You can't just look at someone's design and go, I'm going to copy that and steal his idea. It's a whole thing with custom circuit boards, and I think it was banana jacks, but it might have been mini plugs, I forgot. But it's this huge, like, modular thing he'd put together. Kind of like the guy that does the aluminum can or soup can or whatever, modular is pretty interesting. That's not easy to copy. It's also a lot of work, so I don't know why this guy was so cagey about somebody with a camera on it. So he was kind of weird. So I just kept going, but he'll probably be here this year. He's got usually a like a lucite or plexiglass, some kind of clear plexiglass case with different colors. I think he was even at Buchla and Friends for NAMM, so he gets around. But I guess the Buchla and Friends didn't seem to care so much, and maybe he thought because it's Maker Faire, if you're walking by and you're capturing something, you're likely to steal it because that's the community. Maker Faire just kind of, everything's considered open source unless you say otherwise. So who knows? But there's a bunch of stuff there. They have races with drones, with all kinds of cool glow in the dark and light up artwork, like giant mushrooms and other weird. It's kind of fun. There's always a little kind of sciencey area. I bought a little Geiger counter kit that I still haven't put together yet. That's kind of fun because Geiger counters aren't cheap, even if you build your own. But these guys came up with a cost pretty cheap tube assembly. But because it's a tube-based one and not a more general type of Geiger counter, it's a more kind of old school style Russian tubes. You can't do alpha particles because they bounce right off the glass. So you can only do beta and gamma for the most part, which is good enough. I mean, I'm not expecting to do much with it anyway except to have some fun. There is an app you can download. It's still in progress in the beta section of the iPhone. Test Flight. It's an app called Test Flight where you can do beta stuff, become a beta tester. I'm doing beta testing for a lot of different apps. And that app is associated with some hardware that you buy that's kind of expensive. It's probably 150, 200 bucks, something like that. And you bring that around with your phone, and now your phone's a Geiger counter. That's kind of, I think it's called Radio Code, something like that. So it's, I haven't looked at it for a long time. I downloaded it, but then it expired because I can't use it because I don't have the hardware. So that's the deal. So there's a bunch of cool stuff there, and that's where I got from my microscope channel, I got the Stentors. Stentors are these massive ciliates that are one of the largest single-celled ciliates out there. And basically, if you hold it up to the light in a test tube, you can see them individually, naked eye, just barely. So very, very large single-celled animals. And they look like kind of a horn of plenty, or like a trumpet bell, the way they open up and narrow down to kind of a tapered area. And so I got some samples from a guy last time after I talked to him. and did at least 1 or 2 streams on Stentors on my micro channel if you haven't seen that. So I always bring tubes with me in case I get some other samples. We'll see if I can get something this time, just for fun. The guy's nice because it's they're not making any money on it. It's like a research project through UCSF, and so he was willing to donate. I don't know. He actually handpicked him out of a sample with a pipette, put him in one of my tubes. So I had like 3 or 4, maybe more, in my test tube when I left. It was pretty cool. But that's all that kind of stuff. It's nerds, it's gamers, it's vintage stuff, steampunk, artists. There's all kinds of stuff there with weaving, fabrics, like I said, 3D printing, milling stuff. So guys are making recreation of Harley Davidson parts with mills that they actually sell pretty cheaply. It's like the cost of a decent quality 3D printer. He even sells them as well as the parts. You can buy the parts from them too. So they have all kinds of stuff there, and the usual kind of crap food they have at these events, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. That's where I'm heading. Let's see what we can see. Hopefully the signal holds up. Last time I had a few dead spots, but we shall see. Hey, the good news is where I'm going, I'll be safe from the synth mafia. They won't be hanging out at here because it's mostly nerds and artists and designers. None of those synth mafia assholes are going to be there. So anyway, what a joke. So that's kind of it. I see a couple of you guys are on here, but unfortunately the chat is so small I can't read it while I'm driving, so I can't interact much. But I figured since no pub was going on today that I could tell, I would start this early, show a little drive there, and give you guys a place to chat and stuff if you want. I wish I could engage more, but I gotta watch the road, and the text is so goddamn small. It's kind of tough to read anyway. So here I am on 680, going through San Ramon right now, almost getting close. I'm maybe 20 minutes from getting there or something like that. So I'm not going to stream the whole way because it'll be awfully boring. But I thought I would do a little preamble for getting there, since I'm going to get there late. Talk a little bit about the show, what's possible to see there, and just see if I can match that when I get there, or just cover what I can before they close and keep me out. Last time I was there, I was there another extra half an hour before they kicked us out. It was at 5, so I was able to go about 5:30. Still talk to some vendors, still, take some video. There was a place that was actually doing on-the-spot 3D scanning and printing, but you had to come back obviously because it takes time to print. So I had to get my scan. It was like $10 or something like that, which is fair because they're doing all the work and they're doing printing on the spot, and that way you didn't have to have them mail it to you and all that stuff. You just come back in like 2 hours or so after you've scanned, and most likely they were finished with your head or your torso, whatever they scanned for you. So I got a nice scan on my head, which I already had from other shows like SIGGRAPH. But it was nice to get it printed because as of last year, around that same time, Maker Faire, my 3D printer went on the fritz. And it's a fairly complex one. It's a Delta style, where the feeders are up top going down through a long little snake down to the print head. And this is an older style single print head. It doesn't do the filament switching. You have to do it yourself, and you can do it if you're really quick. You could have several spools hanging and quickly pull back and shove it through before it runs out of the other filament and gives you like a gap or some glitch. And then you can do multi-layered prints or striping, various things like that. But all the new printers do, of the good quality, do multi-thread printing. They just have a switcher and handles it all for you. So you can send it a G-code file that's all ready to go. It knows what filaments to use where, and it just changes the colors on the fly. So you don't have to worry about painting or doing some other after print treatment to your models. You can actually print different colors into your model, which is really clever. So like a poison dart frog that has the splotches integrated into the skin, I've seen prints like that, even done like 5-6 years ago, that were really, really cool looking because it's integrated into the print, so it looks natural. It doesn't look fakey or weird or painted on there. But 5-6 years ago or more, that was a lot of money to get a multi-head or a multi-filament printer with auto switching. Now it's really common. I get them for like $1,500 or less. So they've come a long way. So my printer's getting old, long in the tooth now anyway. I still would like to fix it at some point because it's great. It can print huge volume. Like I could print an actual scale model of a real statue or my head or whatever. It would take probably 3 days to finish, assuming you had no errors. But that's pretty impressive. It's a large volume printer. But because of that, it takes a long time to print. Also the print head, to make it cheaper because it was partly like a maker type build, they incorporated some plastic into the print head mechanism, which is kind of stupid because if the hot head gets a little too hot for the plastic it was made out of, then obviously the print head fails. I think that's what happened to mine. It drifted up a little too high, got too hot, and goofed up the print head. So now my thing won't feed properly from the spooler, even though the spooling mechanism motor is still going. It never comes out unless I put a lot of pressure from my end and force it out. So I probably just have to replace the hot end, but I'm not totally sure. So hopefully the guys from See Me CNC printer company, they actually had a scale model printer, or even life-size model printer here one year. They were doing human-sized prints with this massive 3D printer.
I-680 north.
And obviously the scale is big, so the resolution has to be low, because the filaments were giant. So you get a face, it's going to be a little more stepped, like some old primitive 3D model, because it's trying to do something in a decent amount of time, human size, with a huge filament. But it's cool that they did it as a proof of concept. No one actually bought it. It's just a booth item. You can go ooh-ah over it. So it's cool. So if they're there, I'm gonna ask them some questions about my stuff. But one of my friends just upgraded his printer. I got him into 3D printing a long time ago when I was all gung-ho about it, trying to save up money for it, eventually trying to
20 miles
print models I have
Slow
of
traffic.
my stuff I've printed since, stuff I've created since the 90s, 3D models and other stuff. And finally, it was a reality when the stuff became affordable, or somewhat affordable. But he was the first to bite because he's retired, he has got some good money stashed away, and he's a former IBM engineer, so he builds everything from scratch. So he bought the kit, put it together, started printing a bunch of stuff, decided he wanted a fancier, faster, higher res printer that does high temp plastics like vinyl. So he decided to sell me his kit for a really good price. Well, he just upgraded his kit again to something cool. So I might be acquiring his old kit, which actually has color filament switching, as I just mentioned. So holy shit, how cool would that be to be able to do not just higher res, faster models, but multicolor models. So I'm looking forward to that. That'd be pretty cool. So I could literally do, not that I would, but I could do a Minimoog 3D model and actually print the different color knobs and switches into the model. It'd be pretty awesome, actually. So yeah, we'll see. We shall see. But anyway, it's just a long drive out here, and again, I don't know if you guys are chatting because I can't see any kind of chat window. It's so small. I'm way back here and my thing is mounted to the windshield. But if you guys are here, hope you're having a good chat. If not, maybe you're just enjoying the view or whatever. I didn't have a lot to say, obviously. I'm just kind of bullshitting on the way to the show, but just kind of throwing out there stuff that was good at the show before, stuff I hope to see this time. And yeah, just trying to hustle my ass down there so I can get at least some of my money's worth for the ticket, because tickets weren't cheap. Obviously cheaper for one day than the whole weekend. But I at least wanted to interact with some stuff, see some stuff, maybe see some people I know there. The human element is always a good part of these shows. And it's a cool area too, the old naval shipyard, whatever they call it, naval station shipyard. It's pretty interesting. You actually have to take a little drawbridge across this. It's not quite a river. I think it's artificially made channel. But anyway, you have to take this little bridge across. It's kind of funny. So, and then unfortunately the parking is way away from the venue just because the way it's constructed.
80 north.
So I have to basically park in this giant dirt parking lot, catch a shuttle in. That also eats some more time. So even if I got there 3 hours till closing or more, I have to eat some time with like a 10-minute shuttle wait, maybe more. And we'll see. But I'm not complaining. It's fun no matter what. Even if I only get 2 or 3 hours out of this thing, it'll still be interesting. Something to do, and it's, again, something for everybody. One year they even have these kind of a parade of vehicles sometimes in the bigger spaces, where they have like concept cars, solar cars, weird electric cars, and then some of this like I said, Burning Man type stuff with cars that look like spaceships and stuff with fire shooting out of them. One year they had this giant thing that even had a massive stripper pole on it, which kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It's like, well, you invited these people and there's not nudity. They're just going to have a girl dance around a pole on top of this kind of Mad Max looking car, Road Warrior looking car. So, you know, that got a lot of people pissed off. So, yeah, I just saw the car. I didn't see any person dancing on it, but I could tell it's a stripper pole. So a lot of people were verbally protesting that, but it's like, just get over it, you know. Yes, kids are at the event, but again, there was no nudity. They weren't shouting a lot of profanity. It's just this weird thing that you could even see in a PG-rated movie, because it's just somebody dancing. But the connotation of a stripper pole is
80 north.
unsavory to a lot of these folks. So, but you know, all kinds of people there. You never know what you're going to see. And the area is a weird mix of, you know, liberal, conservative, and all walks of life. You know, fundamentalists, religious fanatics, complete, you know, freedom of everything maniacs. Is everything involved. So you're bound to have some static here and there when people don't agree. I have to go across the Benicia Bridge, and all the bridges around here a long time ago gave up the whole cash toll, because you always had to dig for cash or use a credit card to slow down the traffic, stuff like that. So they basically made mandatory fast track thing. It's a Caltrans standard through all the bridges and toll roads here. Sensors that automatically read a sensor on your car
12 miles
and charge your credit card.
on the route. Slow traffic.
And that way it basically minimizes slowdowns, guarantees they get paid. And if you happen to run through and don't have it, they take a picture of your license plate, they send you a message saying, hey, we're not going to give you a ticket if you buy this sensor, put on your car, and then we'll waive the ticket. And then from then on, you don't have to worry about tickets because you'll get billed. So at least they don't just ding you for not having something. So it's just another way to get money out of you. But at least the system is pretty fluid. Once you have the sensor, it seems to work, and you know it's hands-free. You just keep driving. Nobody thinks about it. It's one of those. It's kind of a modern convenience, even though it's more for their convenience, not for yours, because they're still taking your money. But you got to pay for infrastructure. That's how it goes. A lot of these libertarian guys, hardcore libertarian guys, are like, you know, it's almost like the Tea Party, but not against a foreign government, against our own government, saying that taxation is theft and all this fee stuff for this and that. It's like, well, who's paying for infrastructure? If you don't have some taxes and you don't have some of these things covered for maintenance and staffing, how are you going to get stuff updated, repaired, built, maintained? Oh, here we go. We're in Petroleum Alley here. There's a bunch of oil refineries, other stuff going through here. At nighttime, you see the flames going off the towers. This is right by the Benicia Bridge. This is near
Toll booth ahead.
Yeah, talk about toll booth, but it's not a toll booth, you just drive through. See fast track? Here's the fast track signs. Do not stop. Anyway, this is where they shot some of the footage for Star Trek 4, where it goes the the nuclear vessels and
I-780 West is on the left.
It's basically like a mothball fleet over here. I think it changes off and on, but generally it's like ships just hanging out and not used anymore. Off to the side, but from this camera angle, you probably won't see it. You have to be higher up in the car using your neck to crane around to see it. But this is where they got some of the shots around here of the shots for Star Trek 4.
I-780 West is on the left.
And then there's the opposite way on my left, little bridge over there, and then in the middle is a big rusty bridge that's shorter. That's the railroad bridge. It's been there forever. So this off on the right, you can't see it. It's a little bit of the mothball fleet. Some ships left there, naval ships.
I-780 West is on the left.
And then way, way, way on the left is the, I'm not sure if that's the Carquinez Bridge. There's another bridge over there. So off to the right, you keep 680 up to Sacramento all the way and keep going there. And off the left, 780 goes to Benicia, Vallejo, all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to Vallejo, which is also where they moved the park called Marine World. It used to be called Marine World Africa USA, back when it was in Redwood City, right by where I used to work in Nikon. The road's actually still called Marine World Parkway. It used to be there when I was a kid, and then they decided to move it up here. And they added more roller coasters and other stuff, because not everyone's here to see, you know, dolphin tricks and lion tricks and all kinds of stuff. It's kind of a dopey park these days. Kind of half based on info and conservation and animal information, and half based on animal tricks and stuff, which is more circus bullshit. But you got to pay the bill somehow, I guess. It's just not my favorite kind of place. They did build a butterfly world a while back, probably 10, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. I built a really nice tropical enclosure with all kinds of plants and butterflies flitting about. It's kind of nice for a while, but I don't think they do much with it anymore. All right. So we're almost to Vallejo here. This is also how you get up to Napa Valley. It's a turnoff on the way to Vallejo, or just past Vallejo. I always forget because I don't come here for too much. To cut over to Highway 29, it goes down right through downtown Napa, down into Napa Valley, Rutherford, St. Helena, all the way down to Calistoga. And if you keep going north, you go to Sonoma. And all these wineries and cheese places and fancy places to have lunch, and hotels and weddings, all that kind of stuff. Used to go to Napa a lot with an ex-girlfriend. She had grandparents had property up there, so it was fun to crash there on the weekends and tour the wineries, go to fancy art galleries, local coffee houses, just kind of take it easy, do a little sightseeing, a little bit of relaxation. It's fun. I mean, after a while you get kind of bored with it because it's the same stuff, but it's very nice up there.
Ahead on the route.
Dave Smith basically lived there. Dave Smith with Sequential Circuits lived there basically for most of his life after he founded DSI in San Francisco. That was where the office was, which became Sequential. And but he lived in Napa Valley because it's not that far away from San Francisco. It's a beautiful place, and there's a whole artist community there. They have open houses part of the year where you can actually go to open studio and look at different artists' work in progress. It's funny, one year we went to this one guy's place and the artwork looked really, really familiar. Like, I've seen this artwork before. I said, have you ever worked for Symantec? He goes, I did kind of contract him for them once or something. I said, well, I hate to tell you, but it looks like they stole your key style. They basically pulled a Behringer, in modern parlance. They stole your style and used it on all their future projects, like Timbuktu. Actually, no, that's Fairlawn. Timbuktu is Fairlawn. But like all the Symantec, like doctor products and stuff, had these kind of, for a while they had this kind of chubby, blocky characters on the box art with small heads and big bodies, and it's very distinct style.
Continue on.
And this guy had several of those in his studio, and it was all his original
Prepare
artwork.
to exit.
And clearly Symantec kind of took that, and Fairlawn, looks like, for some of their products. And so he's like, that's interesting. But obviously it's, if you wanted any recourse, the statute of limitations would be long over for that. But I had to tell him because I felt badly because this guy got taken advantage of by companies with gobs and gobs of money, and typical artists getting taken, you know. Kind of sad. Where am I going here? Where am I going? Am I taking 80? Nope, I'm going straight.
Proceed about 3 miles to Mare Island Causeway.
There we go, Maryland Causeway, almost there. So, I'm almost there. I'll just leave it on for the drawbridge. You guys get a kick out of that. Try not to make this video too boring, just kind of yakking and driving. But it's also killing some time. And again, if you guys are chatting, I hope you're having a good time because I can't read it. But this is a multi-function stream, if people are actually tuned in or not. So not bad. I still have about 3.5 hours till they officially close, and I'll probably have a half an hour after they turn the event off and let people linger around a bit. Well, not too bad. We were driving through here before. It wasn't like nicest neighborhood. Lots of security fences and bars on houses and stuff. But it is what it is. Alameda's fun because there's a huge area, because it was a former, they call it the Naval Air Base. So this, obviously the Navy does have planes. That's the whole Top Gun thing. I'm pretty sure that Navy. It's been a long time since I saw Top Gun, but so they have these long runways there, and other areas that would have planes landing for various things. And it's such a long, cool, flat area that's not used these days. I've gone to like a Chevy Rev It Up event there where you could do like racetrack stuff, drive with a professional, and do your own time track and stuff. That was a lot of fun. But they also shot the Matrix Reloaded there with the whole freeway scene. It takes place on top of the semi and all that with the car crashes and stuff. They put up some fake freeway walls to look like the real freeway, because we have those walls all around here. And they built this massive set, and the rest of it was digital to a certain extent, but a lot of it was practical on the Alameda Naval Air Base. Okay, now we're on the Mare Island Causeway. You can see the cranes there that George Lucas said inspired the AT-ATs from the Berkeley, Oakland area. Pretty soon we're going to get to the road. We have to cross the drawbridge. Anyway, so the Matrix was shot there for that sequence, Matrix Reloaded. But they also have a really cool tiki bar on the island called Forbidden Island. Very, very good cocktails there, tiki style, Navy grog and other kind of interesting mixed fruit cocktails and stuff, made by proper mixologists, guys that work at Trader Vic's kind of quality. Very, very good drinks. And some of the drinks are $14 or a little bit more sometimes, because you're paying for a high quality drink with the real fruit juices, real extracts, real spices, proper high quality alcohol stuff. And here comes the drawbridge. You'll see it on the left. It has these blue towers past these trees. You see these weird looking blue towers. That's the drawbridge. Got Kentucky Street.
In a quarter of a mile, left turn onto Mare Island Causeway.
So anyway, Alameda has other stuff. I used to go up there with my brother, who's a tiki head, and get some nice drinks there, and had a bunch of friends that hung out there. There's tiki crawl guys that go to these different bars. All right, here's the Mare Island. Oh, we were on Mare Island Way. Now we're on the Mare Island Causeway going left here. And that takes you through the drawbridge. Aren't you guys lucky? Nice little drawbridge. I don't relish I hope the wait for the shuttle bus isn't too long. It's just money burning, time burning, waiting for the stupid shuttle. Once they moved here, it's a cool location, but the buildings are way removed from the parking area. So walking is kind of a pain in the ass. You're better off just waiting for the shuttle. And they still charge you like almost $20 to park, even though it's this dirt lot. So it's just kind of bullshit, but it does bring money to this area, which looks like it could use it. Some of the houses on the hill up there look pretty decent, but some of the area I just drove through wasn't so great. All right, Mare Island Causeway. This is the
about 9/10 of a mile.
Purple Heart Trail, it says.
Venice Avenue.
then there's a road up here called Nimitz, which is technically the address of the location is Nimitz. Something Nimitz. Here's the drawbridge. Now we gotta wait. And it looks like some people don't want to wait, or they took the wrong way, so they're turning around. Oh boy. There's another causeway over to the right, some kind of overpass without a drawbridge. Yeah, this feels a little bit like Florida here. Some of the areas down by the Keys and stuff this makes me feel like the Keys when I was down there. Highly recommended it. Just don't go during hurricane season, obviously. But it's beautiful down there if you ever get a chance to go. I mean, unfortunately, it's governed by an asshole like DeSantis. And it's a huge MAGA state, which is a big problem for lots of other reasons. But beautiful place. You have the Everglades, you have the Keys, you have Miami, you got Ocean Drive with all the Art Deco stuff, and go over to Coconut Grove with the nice houses, and Calle Ocho, which is the Cuban area, which is very lively. Lots of music on the street and food events and stuff over there. Lots of kind of vibrant cultural stuff over there. I mean, obviously, ever since the 80s, with the drug running through there, and classic movies like Scarface depict it in an over-the-top way, but it's there. Cocaine trafficking, heroin, weed, all kinds of stuff through the area. So there's a significant organized crime element down there, and disorganized crime. But it's a beautiful place. Just nowhere to hang out, nowhere not to hang out. It's perfectly safe. I never had any problems down there. And it's just fun to walk around Ocean Drive and other places, look at the Art Deco stuff, stop in a nice little restaurant, go to a club, hang out by the beach. A lot of stuff looks very similar to when Miami Vice was shooting the TV show there. It was like 84 to 89, I think it was. And a lot of it still looks very similar. It's crazy. They have a mandate to keep the place, historic preservation kind of stuff, because of the Art Deco stuff and how long ago they built that place. So they try their best to keep it looking consistent, not just for the historic purposes, but tourism. A lot of people want to go see that stuff. And it's a cool vibe when you're down there. It's fun. Weather can be pretty brutal because it gets really humid and stuff, but beautiful snorkeling off in the ocean. And definitely, and of course you go to Orlando, you can go to Disney World, and you can go to the giant Universal Studios multi-park, where they have the Harry Potter thing that crosses several parks. Really great roller coasters there too. Had a lot of fun there. But you also have to be careful, because you go when the weather's supposed to be pretty good, and you get these freak storms, and it could not necessarily a nice warm rain. Sometimes it'd be a cold rain, and so we had a freak storm when we were there one time, and I guess we were the only people prepared with backpacks with umbrellas, because everyone else in their shorts and their tank tops and halter tops and stuff like that are just like freaking out, running from the rain and the awnings on Main Street. And we just whipped out our umbrellas and just walking down the middle of the street in the rain, like singing in the rain, happy as clams, not getting wet, and just chuckling at all the goofballs who didn't look at the weather report, didn't plan ahead, just caution to the wind. And you got to think about this shit. You got to plan ahead a little bit. You can't just go willy-nilly to whatever thing and just think everything is fine. It's the weather, or in those kind of areas, can change drastically. Just like, in my area, you got all the fog and stuff in the hills between where I live and San Francisco's fog belt. So I was trying to find the comet the other night on my astronomy channel, and I got fogged in. no sign of it whatsoever on the way up there. It's beautiful. Everything looked great. And within half an hour of being up top, as I was getting ready to set all my stuff up, boom, instant fog, killed the whole view. So it's you got to be totally ready for these weather changes. And it's not just the whole climate change thing. It's just in general. Some of these areas have really drastic weather changes in a matter of, tens of minutes or hours. You could just suddenly have these changes and you're not ready for it. You get screwed. But anyway, this is the really boring part. Sorry, I thought we were going to get to drive right through this stupid drawbridge, but there's some kind of delay. Hopefully it's not an accident, because then I won't get through here at all then. Unless I could probably go through that other causeway. I probably should have taken that instead. I think that's another back way to get here, is that causeway to the right, off camera. We got some tugboats going through here. There's a little marina here with some sailboats in it and stuff. What the hell's going on with this thing? And of course, they're not modern enough to have a nice sign to give you updates, so you can, like the freeways these days have these nice signs here and there, so you can at least get an idea what's going on, if there's a delay or alternate route suggestion or something. And we got nothing here. We're just looking at a red light and a bunch of cars and no progress. This person's given up, looks like. I may have to do the same. I'm not going to wait here for... Oh, wait a minute. Hey, looks like some movement. No. It's still a red light, though. What the fuck? Hey, good. The bridge opened. Oh, they're probably waiting for a boat to cross. I think that's what it was. I think the drawbridge actually was in action. I think a boat was going through. Damn, that was slow. Hey, here we go. Drawbridge. And you can see there's train tracks right in the middle. So
in a quarter of a mile, left turn onto Nimitz Avenue.
the place is strong enough to take rail as well as cars. And the direction said go left, but that's bullshit, because I know parking's on the right. I can see the dirt lot.
Next left.
You can see the buildings here have a whole kind of naval, military kind of theme to them, just like you have in the Presidio in San Francisco, with the adobe buildings and terracotta tile roofs and stuff. Built a long time ago in a similar style. And here is the parking, and there's one of the shuttle buses. Like a kid again driving a school bus.
In 2/10 of a mile, left turn onto I Street.
All right, I think I'm gonna have to prove that I've got
Next left, and
my
then
parking paid
left
for
turn
with my
at the
QR
end of the
code,
road.
which means the phone has to go off. So I'm gonna cut the stream here, guys. Stay tuned in a little bit. I'll do live from inside the show. Stream
Next left, and then left turn.
was, as long as the stream holds up. Prepaid. Here we go. Catch you later, guys.